anticipating Ted Nugent arriving at the AO in 10-15 minutes. He's going to be doing a concert here a little later on with a few thousand close, intimate friends when this arena, the Freedom Hall in Louisville, Kentucky, is filled up. Ted is inbound.
Don't make me get out my bullwhip or cattle prod.
Let's not get out his bullwhip or cattle prod. Hello, Lock and Load Ninjas, YouTube world at large. For the first time since the first time, I'm face to face with Uncle Ted.
Reporting for duty, sir, I brought my truth, logic, and common sense all-American crowbar, and it will not rest.
Now, do you remember the first time you came on my show?
I do, and you were prepared for Larry Pratt, who's a great American, but I suspect as soon as I opened my Motor City mouth, you knew it wasn't Larry.
Well, I suspected when you didn't have a Virginia area code, because I was watching it flash in. I was like, what the hell is Larry doing in Michigan? So,
but see, that makes the best interviews, I think, spontaneous. I would love to. I did my own radio show for a while.
Right.
And I know it's impossible. You got to get things prepared and technology concerns. But the greatest interview, I always tell people I do interviews with, which, by the way, is more than anybody has ever interviewed in their lives, don't talk before you get on the air, because it's that opening, enter the campfire.
That's right.
Spontaneity.
That's right.
Hey, how you doing? What you been up to? You got some back straps? You got your spirit wild? Let's rock. So that's it in a nutshell. Drive safely.
Ted Nugent, ladies and gentlemen. No, I knew it was him because he told me he was wearing Ted's underwear on the phone, live. Went out all over the place. So for you, this election, and the one that they're referring to as the presumptive nominee, is that sort of like, are you, in politically incorrect terms, are you having a pretty good time with this one?
Well, Bill, I want to have a pretty good time.
Right.
And I think what I determine in my wonderful American dream, I hang out with the most positive, patriotic, sacrificing, giving, loving, wonderful families in the world.
Right.
Epitomized at the NRA event.
Right.
These are the families that drive the American dream, and more importantly, fight for the American dream. So in our own pursuit of happiness, we carve out our American dream positive spirit every day, in spite of the government,
right,
in spite of the media, in spite of academia, and the lies and deceit of the Saul Alinsky gang permeating most of the powers that be in America. So the Nugent family is just giddy with happiness.
Right.
You are giddy with happiness.
I'm having a good
We're
time.
at the NRA. How could you not?
I've got to admit, I'm having a good time.
So I am having a good time, but let's look at America, and I think this metaphor is graphic. Let's look at America as my new Dodge Challenger Hellcat that has been tweaked to 800 horsepower. Which, by the way, not only is it handsome, but I actually have a giant pipeline connected to a Saudi prince's ass, sucking raw crude, because I have it tuned up to go 800 yards to the gallon.
So that's sort
just
of like organic milk.
Yeah, it's just like an organic
okay.
energy celebration.
Okay.
So we have the perfect handling, high-performance vehicle in the world. If it had a flat tire, would you celebrate the horsepower and the torque, the convenience, the performance, or would you focus on the flat? It's still a phenomenal car, but it's worthless with the flat tire. So I want to be positive about this majestic machine called America.
Right.
But I am driven in my We the People duties, clear and present responsibility, to focus on the flat. And the flat is everything Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, Bernie, Mao Zedong, Sanders, Black Lives Matter, except for all the black lives slaughtered every day, hands up, don't shoot, which never happened. It's literally the Planet of the Apes flew over the cuckoo's nest. And those of us that work hard and live within our means and earn our own way, we don't recognize what's going on around us. It's rude, it's soulless, it's dishonest, it's Saul Alinsky scam from hell. So yes, I'm excited that a working hard, playing hard, successful American who is not choked by political correctness, one Mr. Donald Trump,
Right.
has finally come to the fore representing people who are like him, whether we have billions or hundreds. We get up early. He gets up early. I know he does. I know the family. He busts his ass to be as productive as he can.
Right.
So does his family. So does my family. So does your family. So does every family in the National Rifle Association. And we are so offended that the Bernie Sanders supporters think that stuff is free, or the Hillary Clinton supporters think that with more innocent lives lost in every gun-free zone, that these freaks actually want more gun-free zones, which translated honestly is we want more dead innocent lives. So Donald Trump is the counterpunch, a sucker punch. We the people knockout game against America haters, freedom haters, productivity haters, Constitution haters, Bill of Rights haters, Ted Nugent haters, and I couldn't be more proud to stand with the people that the Bernie Sanders supporters and the Hillary Clinton supporters and the Barack Obama supporters, that they hate me is a badge of honor, because I stand for the simple stuff. Earn your own way. Live within your means. Be the best that you can be. Ask for nothing from others, but give at every opportunity, and raise your family to be law-abiding assets to your neighborhood and your country. If you find fault with that, and Obama finds fault with that, Eric Holder finds fault with that, Hillary Clinton hates what I just said, Bernie Sanders thinks I'm a loser for trying to be the best that I can be, because he's been a lump of crap all his life.
Excrement.
He's been a non-productive bloodsucker all his life, and all his supporters go, yeah, Nugent's working really hard. We'll get some of his stuff. So it really is divisive. And you know what? Divisiveness is good. I want good people divided from evil people. I want legal people divided from illegal people. I want honest people divided from hateful, dishonest people. So this is the culture war moment in time, and Donald Trump is the right hook, left jab, we the people, Constitution, Bill of Rights, 10 Commandments, Golden Rule, be the best that you can be, American dreamer, representation. Finally, because Mitt Romney wasn't, John McCain wasn't, even George Bush wasn't. Now we've got somebody who's going to stand up and go, this is America. If you're not making her strong, you're making her weak. You know who loves the Hillary supporters and the Bernie Sanders supporters? You know who loves them?
Communists.
China.
Muslims.
China loves them because every time somebody goes, well, I'm not willing to do those jobs. I've given up looking for work. China loves Americans who make America weak. And I don't like those people, so I know I'm on the Trump side, I'm on the positive side. We are the NRA, the largest, most powerful family grassroots, we the people organization in the history of the world. I couldn't be more proud.
The armed civil rights movement.
The armed civil rights movement. Amen.
Now, without going in, I would love to ask you things about what we've been saying about Trump. I like Trump being in it, okay? And I can't wait for the general election, because I think he's going to club Hillary Clinton like a baby seal.
I love when that happens.
Yeah.
I'm ordering a purse now.
But what do you think about all of these conservative outlets and people like Mitt Romney, who's out there? Mitt Romney got half the votes that Trump has got. And
I won't tell you what
increased the output by 78%?
I won't tell you what I think. I'll tell you what I know.
Okay.
Mitt Romney is a turncoat. Mitt Romney brought a doily to a gunfight. Mitt Romney was the poster boy for backpedaling and compromise, which has swung the door wide open for the Saul Alinsky communists, freedom haters, Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders freaks.
Right.
So was John McCain. They actually believe that politics is the art of compromise. Do you think the brave militia who went to Concord Bridge to stop King George from disarming Americans, do you think they thought politics was the art of compromise?
Maybe they should have used their words.
So I know that Mitt Romney has lost his soul, and it's a shame because he's been a productive American and he represented many good aspects of we the people. But when you fall that far into the self-inflicted, entrenched camp of the status quo,
Right.
which is the status quo Republicans are more responsible for the destruction of America than the Democrats. We expect the Democrats' fundamental transformation to end the pillars of American freedom. We expect it from the Democrats. We don't expect it from John McCain and Mitt Romney and people with an R behind their name. So Donald Trump has sent a message. You establishment Republicans are no friends to we the people. And I'm going to stand where you wouldn't stand before. And that's why Donald Trump has, like you mentioned, unprecedented support from, and you're going to have to beep some of this, but the key battle cry today, shit kickers.
Shit kickers.
Finally, the shit kickers have somebody representing people who get up in the morning and work hard. You know who's supporting Donald Trump? Cops, teachers, welders, mechanics, plumbers, guitar players, ranchers, farmers, CEOs, hardware store operators, dry cleaner entrepreneurs, truck drivers. That's who Donald Trump represents. And that's the heart and soul of productive America, who once again are despised by the liberal Democrats. The liberal Democrats think if you get up early and work hard that you're cheating because so many of their constituents don't get up early and won't work hard. It's indescribable.
Well, see, my senior senator in my state is Lindsey Graham. And he looks at
Exactly.
this whole process as a game.
Exactly.
And they act like the status quo they act like the United States is not in distress.
Unbelievable. Well, to the good senator, thank you for the things you've done properly, and there are a few.
Yeah, but that was a long time ago.
And unfortunately, it was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago.
But he has fallen into the chasm of corruption, power abuse, refuse. So Lindsey, Booby, no secure borders. You don't think America needs secure borders. You can't do that. You watched Nancy Pelosi squawk. You don't need to read this. You need to sign it to find out what's in it. And you didn't stop her. You didn't stop that blatant, oath-violating scam. And this goes for all the Republicans who have not secured the borders, who have not got rid of this unconstitutional Obamacare scam, etc. That you sit idly by as Obama's policies weaken our military force worse than ever.
Don't forget Kagan and Sotomayor.
And I think we've talked about this, but
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people know this. When we won Heller in Washington, where the Supreme Court 5-4 admitted, they didn't determine, they finally admitted, 5 of them did,
Right.
what the word shall not be infringed means, and what keep and bear means.
Right.
But 4 of them, not only did they not vote for the Second Amendment, do you know that those 4 liberal Supreme Court justices, and think of that title, Supreme Court Justices, 4 of them wrote a dissenting letter, and they signed it,
Right.
that said not only do they not believe that the Second Amendment guarantees individual rights to keep and bear arms, they inserted this phrase: they see no guarantee that American citizens have a basic right, I'm paraphrasing, a basic right to self-defense.
Based upon their flawed interpretation.
Flawed interpretation based on their flawed character.
Ah, yes, okay.
A Supreme Court justice can actually decree that Americans don't have, or a human being anywhere, doesn't have the right to self-defense. Well, here's a little tip from the guitar player, you goofballs. God created us in his image and likeness. He gave us the precious, valuable gift of life. With that gift comes not only the right to keep and bear arms and defend that precious gift of life, but the moral, intellectual, and spiritual obligation to defend our lives. If you don't get that, call 1-800-NUMBNUT, and maybe Michael Moore can explain to you how personal hygiene is superfluous.
In the post-production, I will have that phone number flashing at the bottom, 1-800-NUMBNUT.
1-800-NUMBNUT.
Is that with two
all
T's or-
capitals, in bold print,
Okay.
because most of them can't read.
Public schooling.
And by the way, if this is over the top to you people, eat me. This is not over the top. This is the most fundamental, we the people, standing up for self-evident truth and logic and common sense that you will ever see. And anybody that doesn't do like this is not doing their job. Well, you know, Bill, I think we should be more tolerant.
Nah. Well, I am tolerant. It's the ones that preach tolerance to me that don't like me. Because
Tolerate good,
Yeah.
do not tolerate evil.
Right.
Case closed.
That's pretty good. The only problem I'm having today is I thought you'd show up in the live badger loincloth that you told me so much
Well,
about.
I ate that last month,
You ate it?
so I'm sorry, you'll have
Okay.
to re-dress.
Okay.
But I'm the only guitar player that actually shoots his own stage clothes, which is one of the reasons you love me.
It is. It is. The first time you did the show, you were in like a cowboy hat, your kangaroo skin boots, and your loincloth, right?
Yep. Actually, that was a live badger.
Live.
I had
It was the live badger.
strapped across my crotch. You got a problem with that?
Watching out. Was it watching out for you?
Yeah, I take my badger for a walk every night on stage.
So
Don't get too close to the varmint.
looking at the numbers and everything, looking at, on my show, I try to sell guns, and I can't. I'm nowhere near Obama's caliber as far
Oh,
as selling guns.
he's the champ, no doubt about
over
it.
100 million background checks on
Barack,
his watch.
Booby, we love you. God bless the community
Yeah, yeah.
organizer. You are gun salesman of the century.
Do you think these politicians sit down and actually do the math, and when they get out there and say, we're going to do this and we're going to do that, they believe that these guys here wearing the badge is going to say, oh, hell yeah, I'll strap on to go start kicking in doors of my neighbors and taking things from them. And then the military is going to follow along and say, oh, well, orders are orders. I saw that one time in some Nazi movie I watched. Do you think they actually sit down and do the math and say, we haven't got a snowball's chance in hell if we try to push it this way?
Well, if you listen to the speeches and the teleprompter repetition
Yeah.
of our elected employees violating their oath to the Constitution pretty much on an hourly basis.
Right.
And if you really listen to Hillary Clinton explain her take on the right to keep and bear arms, you're being awfully kind even referencing that they might understand any math other than 1 and 1 equals 2. They are so disconnected from the trenches of this great country that they are now on a daily basis, I'm convinced, committing felonies of infringement, violating their oath, their sacred oath to the Constitution when they take office. I take that oath as a law enforcement agent
Right.
for 32 years. And I know those words are the essence of free men everywhere. And I don't think Barack Obama knows the difference between community organizing, which by the way is a social justice term for scam artists.
Right.
Acorn, look up Acorn. Look what Planned Parenthood does. Those are scams. They're just, look at the Humane Society of the United States. Look what the BLM does. Look what the U.S. Fish and Wildlife does. Look what the USDA does. I mean, and I'm not going to give it to you all here. Do a little search on your own. I know the scams that are running amok in our government right now.
Right.
And look at the IRS. Lois Lerner is not in jail yet. You don't think the IRS is one big jackbooted, power-abusing, corrupt scam, do you?
Yeah, I do. And aren't they talking about taking away her boss's pension? That'll show him. He's only a millionaire now. We'll take away your pension. You're not getting nothing monthly.
So I understand, and I hang out. This last season and next week, I have 25 guys coming at a campfire in Michigan. Last year, I think it was 195 hunters that I shared campfires with.
Right.
The spirit around a campfire, as you well know, is wide open, totally uninhibited. I use the word shit kicker again. Nobody holds back. They tell you what they believe. They tell you about their life's experiences, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So when I speak, I'm not speaking for me. I have carved out an American dream niche, as have you, and as have everybody with a work ethic and a moral compass, to sustain ourselves and provide for our family, and to be a productive asset to our fellow Americans and the good earth and our fellow man. The spirit of heartbreak, most poignant from military heroes that I spend time with.
Right.
I've tried to convey this, and I could go into a lot of examples of the heartbreak that Barack Obama has caused with his scams and with his failure to do the math. This era, this Barack Obama era, and it's not all his fault. It happened before him, but boy, he's perfected it.
Amplified it.
From the words of men and women dedicated to sacrifice their lives for the Constitution, for we the people. You know why we have an unprecedented rate of suicides amongst military people? I hate to say this, but it has to be said. The military is heartbroken because their commander-in-chief is their enemy.
Yeah,
What could be worse?
My time in service, I sit back and I look at it, and I was in the 80s, and I sort of look at myself as having done my part to perpetuate this
Thank you.
corrupt machine that has gotten to
Machine.
where it is today.
But Barack Obama, the rules of engagement benefit the enemy. I
His
train
rules-
with these heroes, and I'm humbled and honored and privileged to hang with the greatest human beings that ever walked. The heroes, the warriors of the U.S. Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the U.S. Marine Corps, the Coast Guard, the National Guard, all of them, and a bunch of guys that don't really exist, if you know what I mean.
I do.
I've been invited to join the Special Forces event. I work with Delta Force and the Rangers and the SEALs and the Green Berets and guys that don't exist. I know what's in their heart and soul because they unload on Uncle Ted. And to think that this era is a time where the heroes of the military are ashamed of their commander-in-chief. A society has no worse crime than to turn their back on the men and women who sacrificed their lives for freedom. And a lot of people will think that's an over-the-top statement. Well, talk to the Marines that told me that. Talk to the Army Rangers that told me that. Talk to the Navy SEALs that told me that. Those aren't Ted Nugent guitar-playing hunches. Those are heartbroken tears of blood from warriors who trained to put their lives on the line for we the people, and they know that Barack Obama is one of us.
Yeah.
That's a disaster.
Special-
But Donald Trump's going to fix that.
Yeah, well, the Special Forces community has a special place in hell for him if he goes in the wrong place. They've already sent him a letter. Dear Mr. President, don't overstep that bound too far,
I'm telling you.
or we'll do what we do.
I'm telling you. So, is there a lot of good? Well, you could be kind of drunk on good at the NRA convention. There's so much good here, it's like perfect. It's like I tell everybody, the whole world sucks. America still sucks less, but at the NRA event, it don't suck at all. It's perfect. If you could just take this event and go from city to city and move out the punks in Chicago and just turn Chicago into the NRA camp.
Or just move the conventioneers into Chicago.
These are the best people, and you know who they are? Cops, military, teachers, ranchers. They're we the people.
Americans.
It's not the gun lobby. It's the we the people grassroots organization demanding you do not disarm us. We have a God-given right and a moral obligation to defend our lives. Don't tread on me. Duh.
You gonna kill it tonight?
My
You're
guitar-
gonna kill it. You're gonna kill it in
My
hour and a
guitar
half?
does not gently weep.
Okay, that's good. That's good. This is happening at 12:30.
Yep.
Freedom Hall, 22 May 2016. So by the time everybody sees this, this will be history.
Yes, and people will be dancing on air. I actually cause everyone to levitate and just move out like spiritual warriors on cloud nine.
Or a natural high because he doesn't do drugs.
That's right, I do venison.
Venison.
I'm high on backstraps.
Venison. And badgers.
And that's important to know because a lot of young people come to my Facebook, tens of millions of people on Facebook. By the way, all you Nugent Facebookers, you rock. And a lot of young people come on and they're astonished to hear that I've been clean and sober my whole life. Well, if you tried to swing on a rope with a loincloth and playing guitar, if you were stoned, you would have fallen and died and jammed with Jimi Hendrix or John Belushi. I've been clean and sober my entire life. I get high on close encounters with unsuspecting herbivores. I get high on snuggling with Mrs. Nugent and playing with my dogs and my sons and my daughters and my grandkids and my brothers and my sisters, fighting for freedom, working with the greatest musicians in the world. You know, I'd like to jam with Prince tonight. I'd like to jam with Glenn Frey tonight. Are you with me?
I'm with you.
You see, Jimmy got high and Jimmy's dead. I went hunting and I'm still Ted.
Wow, I like that. I knew you didn't do drugs.
Yeah,
First time
no.
I introduced you because of that outrageous
It's
lung
important
capacity.
because a lot of people think if you're this crazy, and I'm living proof that you don't have to get stoned or stupid to have a great, wild, uninhibited time. I'm great, I'm wild, I'm uninhibited, and I'm straight. Go figure.
I've been interviewing this guy for nearly 4 years. First time I get to meet him face to face. Killing it. Thank you, sir.
The truth is a beautiful thing. I'm
It is
addicted.
a beautiful thing. It is a beautiful thing.
I'm addicted.
Even with somebody with a radio face.
God bless you, son.
Roger that.
Both of us.
We are out of here.
Never over, never out, never back down, never bend over, never give up, never give in. Semper Fi, trample the weak, hurdle the dead.
Well, then we're just at the technological end of this recording loop.
What they do to me.